Wax Lips. I got them, you guessed it, at M&M Beer. Today, I got this beer, Sapporo Premium Beer. And you know what? All right, where did I see something on here? Made somewhere else. A product of Vietnam. I paid $4.48 for this can. It looks like a steel bottom. Anyways, and that's a small tab for the, it's, how many ounces is this bad boy? How many ounces is it? 22 ounces. Anyways, we're going to talk about podcasts, like you already know, that do stuff wrong. Now, my podcast is awesome. But anyways, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I have for the past 3 or 4 years. And what I hate about podcasts, what I don't like about them, is they spend all this money and they have one darn microphone and one person's using it, and you got like 4 other people that are like 5 feet, 6, 7 feet away talking, and you can't hear them, and you only got this guy, and then you go to, when they're talking, they're so far away, you have to turn it up, and this idiot talks, and he's too close to it. A lot of people talk too close to the microphone, and they get a puff of air every time they say P's or T's. Come on, you gotta do your podcast, do all the editing, review it. Okay, what can we do here? What can we do there? No, people are just so much in a hurry just to get it out there, and then it's crap. I listened to the first podcast of everybody's podcast. I don't do the intro thing. I do the first podcast, and if it's like that, I don't listen to them anymore. It's a waste of my time. Anyways, I'm getting it for free. I shouldn't complain, but it's always, and about the 10th one in, they start throwing ads in there. Well, it's the same way on YouTube. You got these people making millions of dollars for a lot of money, and they gripe that their thing was demonetized. And I was like, well, do what I do. Don't monetize anything. You shouldn't have to wait for any ads in any of my videos. I don't make any money on it. But have a backup plan, because you're not going to last forever doing whatever you're doing for YouTube, and you're going to make all that money anymore. Gotta have a backup plan, so don't rely on that. But podcasting is the same way. Get a good mic. How many people you have in your podcast? Get a microphone for each of that person. Get a mixer board or something. You can mess with the levels and everything. Then do it, and don't do a lot of I know there's people that do that all the time in podcasts, and I was like, not good. So, and another thing is, I could go on for a long darn time, but another thing is, a lot of people, like, I listen to true crime, and a lot of people, I'll skip that episode if they're interviewing somebody and they're talking in questions. And I think, what some people call it up talking, and I can't stand it. It's very annoying. They're not sure of what they're saying. I think Sheldon did it once on a Big Bang Theory, where Leonard was coming over and he says, I'm here for the apartment. And he goes, you're asking me? I'm here for the apartment. And that's when I get a lot of true crime podcasts are like, well, she was the favorite child in the family, and everybody liked her, and she had lots of friends. It's like a question mark after every damn word. It's like they're turning their head, and they're like, she had lots of friends? She was the favorite child, or an only child? And it's like, why do people talk like that? I can't stand that. Women do it a lot more than men. But I sit there and I'll hear 4 sentences, and they're all in questions, and they're explaining something. Well, she was an only child. That's the way you're supposed to say it. Everybody liked her. She had a lot of friends. She's the only child? She had lots of friends? Cut that off. lot of some people I don't listen to anymore because they'll be telling a story and they go off, and start talking about something else other than the story, and they get wound up. It's like ADD. You got to stay on the story, and they do that for 5 minutes, and it's like I don't like that either. Another one is if you have 2 or 3 people with you doing your podcast, don't get all of your talking out about what you did this weekend. Well, what'd you do this weekend? What'd you do this weekend? Okay, let's talk that out first. Don't bring that on the podcast. Your podcast is about what? UFOs or Bigfoot or true crime. Don't sit there and say, hey, Bill, how'd your weekend go? And they blah, 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 and you go on for like 5 minutes. You're going to hear about this crap. Sometimes it's even longer. It's like 10 or 15 minutes before they get into the podcast. Oh, my God, so annoying. So, another one is, I don't know. This is all off the top of my head, I can't think right now. Maybe if I drink a beer, it'll come right to me. Oh, no, didn't come to me. But that's it. If I sit here and ramble on a little bit, something will come to the top of my head. Okay, I did that. Animals in the background talking or barking and stuff all the time. It's mostly poor quality. Background music, don't have it so loud where you can't, it overpowers your talking. You can't have it too loud. You can have it in the background, but don't have it so freaking loud. Ads or Patreon. People who Patreon, they always do this. There's one I listen to, they do it all the time. I have to skip like 3 or 4 minutes in because it's a great podcast. But it's 3 or 4 minutes in, they're doing the shout outs for the Patreon. Well, they already get episodes that we don't get, that don't pay you. Why are you giving them a shout out, an extra thing, and wasting time for the normal people? Normal people to listen to this stuff. And I don't know. But some of the podcasts I like, I used to listen to 48 Hours. Now, 48 Hours, they will do the same exact, like it will say August 11th. They'll do this podcast. The name will be here. And like 2 or 3 months down the road, they'll put that same podcast, that same story up again. Sometimes they'll do it 4 times. Because I was like listening to them, and all of a sudden I was like, I know this one. I did this one before. And I start scrolling, and there it is again. And I start scrolling, like 6, 7 months later, there it is again. So I'm done with that. Come on. You're a big, huge media company. You can't put new ones out? I used to listen to them no more. Dateline NBC, I like them, but there's a guy on there that when he's talking, it's almost, he's like he's doing a Halloween show. Like his voice is like deep, and he's going, well, when she was answered the door, it was someone she did not expect. And I was like, stop being so dramatic and stuff. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's, oh well, anyways. But I still listen to it. And another podcast, True Crime All the Time. And I've been listening to them for a long time. It's with Mike Gibson, and Mike Ferguson. They do true crime and stuff, and they do a pretty good job of that. I can't remember any of them. Some of them. True Crime Conversations. It's a true crime podcast out of Australia. The lady does it. I think they went through 2 different hosts so far, and that's where I get a lot of up talking when they're interviewing somebody and they just do the question thing. And I was like, I have to skip that podcast and go to the next one. I was listening to Phenomenon. It was about, what the heck was it? It was about some things coming from outer space and taking over the world, and it was all fictional. I mean, well, naturally, and that was pretty cool. But then they take so long to go in between each episode, and I was like, I don't want to listen to this anymore. And then there was one other one like that, True Crime Kent. Now, if you don't like if you don't like dark humor or cursing, don't listen to that. You'll laugh if you do like that stuff. It's funny. True Crime Kent. It's funny, but he goes so long in between putting episodes in. I left it there. I don't do that no more. It's like he started doing Patreon after so long, and then that's all he did was Patreon. And I was like, no, I ain't gonna listen to that anymore. This one, he's actually on YouTube as well. What is that guy? Forgot what the guy was. Deadbug. Deadbug says, if you don't like, he gets dark, murders and stuff like that, and and stuff. He just outright dark, gory. He'll explain stuff. True Crime Dicks at Detectives is the voice for Lisa Simpson. She hosts it and has her two friends and their brothers and her twins, and one was a detective and one was the detective for like patrol, and the other one, it's pretty good how they do that, but they're starting to go too long in between each one, and they're going off on other podcasts, and I don't want to listen to the stuff that they're doing. It's not. They'll have people in, like guests, that will talk about a crime that they investigated, but then they go off on the other stuff, and I don't care for them episodes. I don't listen to those, but those are a few of them that I listen to. Oh, and a one I got now. Oh Lord, if it's a comedian, but if you don't like a lot of cursing, you ain't gonna listen to him. Bill Burr. Now, he's a big comedian and stuff, and I've been listening to him. I'm on his podcast. I'm at 2014. I started at 2011, and he puts one every Monday. It's a Monday morning podcast. I like that one too. And I don't like podcasts that the problem I have, they're too small. They're like 7 minutes long, even a half an hour long. That's not long enough. I mean, some people might like the smaller ones. No, not me. I like them about 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half. That's fine, but I don't like the ones that are just, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. You sit there, and then your intro is probably like a minute and a half long, and I don't like that either. A lot of people have their intros are way too long. And there was one I was listening to. It had an intro, like music. It had music. And then it had like a little bit of an intro, him telling something. And then it went to another intro. And then it went to more music. It was like 4 minutes before the dang he started talking about what the heck he was going to talk about the main body. And then he had like four and a half minutes of music at the end. I don't know if he made it. He was trying to show off his stuff. I don't like that. I don't like a lot of music, and the intros and the outros are just too long. Cut them down. Cut them down. The ones I really liked I don't listen to anymore because they kept going back to their own personal experiences, but it was hilarious, was True Ghost Stories by Real People or something like that. There was a mother-son, and I talked about him before in a different episode I did on this, and he is hilarious. He has me laughing out loud. But they kept going, and then he left. They left, and because he was fighting cancer, leukemia, and then they came back, and then they just disappeared. I don't know whatever happened to them. They put up like 4 or 5 episodes, and then they're just gone. I don't know whatever happened. Then I stopped listening, and I didn't want to deal with them anymore. This feels like a steel can. This can is heavy. I got a magnet here. You know what? I got a giant. My son got me this. Oh no! Well, shut up, Gary. It's little magnets that you can take them apart and make stuff out of them. Yeah, that sticks. That doesn't stick to the top. Ain't sticking to that. No, it doesn't stick to the top. It sticks to the bottom. That's for darn sure. See? So it kind of sticks to the side too. I'm gonna put my eye out. So that's it, folks. That's the podcast that I don't really care for. This is a pretty good beer. I like this beer. I'm not paying $4.48 for each one of the darn thing. I'm gonna go to a strip club and get a beer for that. What do they charge the strip clubs for a drink, a beer? How much? Because I remember going there when I was like single, it was like $2.50 for a single can of beer. And I was like, I don't like strip clubs. I thought it was stupid. I went there with a friend, and I was just like, I didn't want nothing to deal with this girl dancing around. But you have to be pretty desperate to go and pay the price. I know I'm getting off topic. Pay that much for a beer, and you have to pay a woman to dance for you. Either you're that ugly, or you're that desperate. I'm not getting my money. I'll sit at home. It's a lot cheaper. Anyways, so that's it. I don't know what else I want to talk about now. It's nothing like my podcast. My podcast is excellent. Yeah, right. Okay, it's a good beer. It's like almost like I probably wouldn't know it from anything else in American beers. I probably couldn't pick this out from any other like Busch, Budweiser and stuff. I probably couldn't pick it out. But it's still a fine beer. Okay, I think I'm all done here. I'm working on stuff. I'm working on a couple of projects I'm going to make videos for, and I probably already posted one up. But I'm working on another one, and it's been slow. So I guess that's it, folks. I'm done. I'm trying to think of anything else I don't like about the podcast. The intro, the outros, too many commercials. Sometimes there's too many commercials. I understand you want to make money. Too many commercials, man. Knock that out. Come on, keep it down to a minimum. So that's it. I'm done. We'll see you in the next one. Hold it. I just thought of 3 other ones. Courtroom interviews or courtroom testimony. You can't understand a damn thing they say. Police interviews, interrogations. You can't understand a damn thing they say. And another one is when they're sitting there trying to talk to somebody and they're crying. You can't understand a damn thing they say. There you go. Thanks for watching.